أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Dear audience, Assalamu alaikum. Today's talk is another very important talk on the topic of Riba, usury, interest, stealing and grabbing the wealth and money of other people by unfair means. I'm going to commence today's talk with the recitation of the verse number 28 of Surah Az-Zumar, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has addressed Qur'anan Arabiyan ghayra zi iwajin la'allahum yattaqun, that this Quran is Quran Arabi, means this Quran has been revealed in Arabic tongue. Ghayra zi iwajin, this Quran Hakim, Furqan Hamid, is devoid of any bend, twist, any crookedness or distortion in its meanings. This Kitabullah is ghayra zi iwajin la'allahum yattaqun, and the purpose of the revelation of this Kitabullah is that the mankind become conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and adopt the discipline according to the commandments given in the Kitab-e-Aziz. Dear audience, I am a student of Quran. When I see the present world, our own Muslim community, I see different practices, different sects, different deviations in the community, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Kitabullah that this Kitabullah, this Quran Hakim, Furqan Hamid, is without any bends, twists, any curves, any crookedness or any distortion. And in the verse number 3 of Surah Al-Ma'idah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has addressed the humanity, all of the mankind, Al-Yawma Akmaltu Lakum Deenakum, that today is the day that I have completed your deen, your constitution, your laws, your commandments, the instructions and advisory for all of the mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has completed our deen, our religion. This Kitabullah, Furqan Hamid, is the ad-deen. It is the constitution. The commandments given in the Kitabullah, the instructions given in the Kitabullah are to be followed as it is. But when I started learning about Riba and started seeing different practices in our community, in our own Muslim community, and then when I also learned from reading the literature that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam died soon after the verses of the Riba were revealed, and there was not much guidance on Riba from outside the Quran. I found this comment quite derogatory to the Kitabullah and also to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the sole responsibility of delivering the messages, to do the tabligh of the Kitabullah and to do it with complete perfection. At one place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَإِلَّمْ تَفْعَلْ فَمَا بَلَّغْتَ رِسَالَتَهُ, that if you have not delivered the message of the Kitab-e-Aziz completely, entirely, then you have not fulfilled the duty of the prophethood. It is not possible that the complete guidance is not available. And that guidance has to be without any bends, twists, crookedness, distortion, as claimed by the Kitabullah itself. Today, I am going to seek references for Riba, for usury, from the verse number 130 to 132 of Surah Al Imran, and verse number 278 and 279 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Let us seek what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing in the verse number 130 of Surah Ali Imran. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu la ta'kulu riba az'afam muza'afa wattaqullaha la'allakum tuflihun. O you who have attained to faith, do not gorge yourselves on usury, doubling and redoubling it, but remain conscious of God so that you might attain to a happy state. Let us seek and pay heed to the message of the Kitab-e-Aziz. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing to the believers, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, O people who have attained to faith, La ta'kulu riba, do not eat riba, do not eat interest, do not eat usury, do not exploit other people, do not steal or grab the wealth of other people over and above of your capital, az'afam muza'afa, doubling and redoubling it. Here the talk is made of, as is in common today's practice, we talk of simple and compound interest. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has condemned the simple interest as well as the compound interest, the interest which gets added on to the initial loan which was taken by the debtor. Wattaqullaha la'allakum tuflihun, and remain conscious of Allah. Acquire the discipline in your life according to the commandments which is being delivered here. La ta'kulu riba la'allakum tuflihun, so that you might become successful and you might attain to a happy state. Verse number 131 of Surah Al Imran. وَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي أُعِدَّتْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ, and beware of the fire which awaits those who deny the truth. So in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي, that be conscious of the fire, أُعِدَّتْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ, which has been prepared for those people. He has been waiting for those people who deny the message of the Kitab-e-Aziz, who do the kufr of eating riba and don't change their practice in this present context. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ, and pay heed unto God and the apostle, so that you might be graced with mercy. Let us concentrate. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ, and obey Allah and His apostle. We have received this Kitabullah through the beloved heart of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We didn't know the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until the Quran was revealed onto the beloved heart of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So pay heed to the Allah and follow the commandments of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as they are delivered to the Prophet, and they have come unto you, they have been delivered to you through the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. La'allakum turhamun, so that you might be graced with mercy. From the verse number 130 of Surah Al Imran, some people developed a misconception that Allah has prohibited only the compound interest but hasn't prohibited the simple interest. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has condemned the interest or usury in all its form, whether it's simple interest, whether it's compound interest. To support this thing, I am going to recite the verse number 278 and 279 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ttaqu, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ttaqullaha wazaru ma baqiya minar riba in kuntum mu'minin. Meaning, O you who have attained to faith, remain conscious of God and give up all outstanding gains from usury if you are truly believers. Let us concentrate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. O people who have attained to faith. Ittaqullaha. Become conscious of Allah. Always be mindful of your Rabb, your sustainer. Wazaru ma baqiya min al-riba. And leave whatsoever your gains are left in usury. In kuntum mu'minin. If you are truly believers. فَإِلَّمْ تَفْعَلُوا, verse number 279, this is Surah Al-Baqarah. فَإِلَّمْ تَفْعَلُوا فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَإِن تُبْتُمْ فَلَكُمْ رُؤُوسُ أَمْوَالِكُمْ لَا تَظْلِمُونَ وَلَا تُظْلَمُونَ. Meaning, for if you do it not, then know that you are at war with God and his apostle, but if you repent, then you shall be entitled to the return of your principal. You will do no wrong, and neither will you be wronged. Let us concentrate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking. فَإِلَّمْ تَفْعَلُوا. That if you don't do it, and you don't change your practices of eating usury, interest, riba, or exploiting other people, فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking. So make sure and know this thing, that you are at war, you are at harb with Allah and his apostle, and through to the message of the Kitab-e-Aziz, Kitabullah. Wa in tubtum. But if you repent and you change your practices, falakum ru'usu amwalikum, then you have your right to take your capital back, or your principal back, or the amount which you have lent. You cannot take back even a penny above the capital or the principal which you have lent. Here the term which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used is amwal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not used the term money, dinar, dirham, or any currency, but rather Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described the term here amwal or mal, which means anything which a person can possess. So the riba applies to anything which a person can possess, whether it might be silver, it might be gold, it might be any currency, it might be land, it might be a home, it might be cattle, it might be grains. Anything which a person can possess, the amount he has lent, he has to take back the same amount or equivalent. He cannot take anything above the amount which he has lent, because it is the exploitation and there is no physical effort involved in the expected gain in usury by the lender. In addition to the verse number 279 of Surah Al-Baqarah, wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has talked about riba, he has talked about in the Quranic Hakim, in the Kitabullah, wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has talked about riba, he has talked about the amwal an-nas, or amwal or mal of the lender. In verse number 161 of Surah An-Nisa, in the verse number 39 of Surah Ar-Rum as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about amwal an-nas, meaning the wealth of the other people, or the property of the other people, or anything which the other person possesses. This is inclusive of all conventional mortgages, Islamic mortgages, rental practices, or any profit taken on top of the capital or principal without any effort on the part of lender. This is riba. If you see the current practices in the Muslim community, they are quite different from what has been advised in the Kitabullah. And through the tadabbur of the Kitabullah, seeing the words which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used in this Furqan Hamid, Kitab-e-Aziz, there is no doubt left Quranan Arabiyan Ghairazi Wajin, that this is the Quran Arabi, without any bend, without any twist, without any curve, without any crookedness or distortion in its meanings. This Quran Arabi is Sirate Mustaqim. It leads straight to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It does not allow any loopholes or any false passages. no batil, no falsehood can enter into the Kitabullah from any side, from anywhere. It is free from all form of falsehoodness. And to anyone who gets the message of the Kitab Aziz and he doesn't change his practices according to the commandments given in the Kitabullah, in the verse number 9 of the Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken, يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ, meaning they would deceive God and those who have attained to faith, the while they deceive none but themselves and perceive it not. So actually the people who are involved in these practices and they feel like that they can deceive Allah and the message of the Kitab Aziz, they will never be able to deceive the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, they think in their hearts that they are deceiving Allah and the people who have attained to faith. وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ, they cannot deceive anyone except themselves. They are deceiving their own souls, their own hearts, and they haven't got any knowledge of it. And in the Surah Al-An'am, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken, وَمَا تَأْتِيهِم مِّنْ آيَةٍ مِّنْ آيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ إِلَّا كَانُوا عَنْهَا مُعْرِضِينَ. This is verse number 4 of the Surah Al-An'am. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken, وَمَا تَأْتِيهِم مِّنْ آيَةٍ مِّنْ آيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ إِلَّا كَانُوا عَنْهَا مُعْرِضِينَ. Yet whenever any of their sustainers' messages comes unto them, they who are bent on denying the truth turn their backs upon it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken here that the people who deny the truth, who deny and they refuse to accept the message of the Kitabullah, whenever the message they reach them, what they do, they avoid and they turn their backs towards the message of the Kitabullah and they don't change their practices. فَقَدْ قَذَّبُوا بِالْحَقِّ لَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِيهِمْ أَنْبَاءُ مَا كَانُوا بِهِ يَسْتَهْزِئُونَ. And so they give the lie to this truth now it has come unto them. In time, however, they will come to understand what it was that they were wont to deride. This is the verse number 5 of the Surah Al-An'am. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَقَدْ كَذَّبُوا بِالْحَقِّ لَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ. So whosoever to whom this al-haq reaches, al-haq means the message of the Kitabullah, they reach, they arrive. فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِيهِمْ, and they deny and they do the takzeeb of the al-haq, they deny the al-haq. فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِيهِمْ أَنْبَاءُ مَا كَانُوا بِهِ يَسْتَهْزِئُونَ. In time, however, they will come to understand what it was they were wont to deride. I seek Allah's forgiveness if there's any shortcoming in the delivery of the message. رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَاخِذْنَا إِن نَّسِينَا وَأَخْطَأْنَا رَبَّنَا وَلَا تَحْمِلْ عَلَيْنَا إِصْرًا كَمَا حَمَلْتَهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِن قَبْلِنَا رَبَّنَا وَلَا تُحَمِّلْنَا مَا لَا طَاقَةَ لَنَا بِهِ وَاعْفُ عَنَّا وَاغْفِرْ لَنَا وَارْحَمْنَا أَنْتَ مَوْلَانَا فَانصُرْنَا عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ. جزاكم الله خير.